On today's episode, we are getting into the Russell's Reserve. In particular, this is a private borough. I'll go by the name of, let's get into this.
Play the intro. I go by the name of Lord.
Let's serve you some whiskey. Now, folks, welcome back. It has been a minute since I did a video like this. As you know, for some of you who follow the channel, this is on the desk. No pun intended. That's the setup. Me, whiskey on the desk. That's it. But also, this is the 100th episode. Man, time flies. Time flies. Hell yeah, time goes. Where has the time gone? Well, how much time you got today, folks? I'll tell you where the time has gone. A lot has changed. I remember like it was yesterday. My first video was the Russell's Reserve 10 year, which was pretty cool. And I found it fitting. So for this being the 100th video, I'm like, you know what? Why not review a Russell's Reserve Private Borough Select? Yeah. Pause for cork pop. Now, usually I have a Glencairn. Today it's the 100th video. I was like, why not? Let's go ahead and pour it up in the Baccarat. Flex, 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 flex. Oh yeah. Ow! Now I actually poured a little bit too much than I would care for. But at the end of the day, who is watching? So yeah. So before we get into anything, shout out to everyone who has subscribed and watched the channel so far. I appreciate all you all on this channel. So this is to you. Cheers, salud, Sante Kobe, and all that jazz. Yep. No review. I lied. No tasting notes. No nose and notes because no Glen. But overall, this nose is crazy. So yeah. So today's episode, time has fly. I started this channel almost a year ago. Like I said, the first video was the Russell's 10, and ever since then, I've been figuring out what to do for the 100th video. Didn't want to do nothing too crazy special, but I felt fitting to bring on the desk back for this. Now, thinking back on where I've came from with this channel and where I'm going, I would say the message for today video would be, just do it. Whatever you have planned in life, just do it. Just start with what you have now. Now, the whiskey channel was something that I put off for years. Like many of you who have channels now on YouTube or in other platform spaces, I started off looking at a lot of people online. Even before the pandemic, I was huge on Ralphie. You know, we have any, Ralphie fans in the comments, let me know. Ralphie was super huge. A lot of like scotches I would buy, just recommendations from whatever Ralphie would recommend or whatever for the most part. He was one. Keeping with the Scotch theme, Whiskey Vault was another one. They were super dope. Bourbon Junkies was like the first official bourbon channel that I follow. They were dope. From Bourbon Junkies went Mash and Drum. From Mash and Drum went to It's Bourbon Night, and then Bourbon Pursuit, and then The Bourbon Judge. Just to name a few. Those were like the earlier channels that I followed a lot. So anyway, fast forward, during the pandemic, I watched a ton of Whiskey Tube. Like a ton. Like to this day, I believe I probably consume so much whiskey content than the average person. I promise you. You might think you watch a lot, but talk to me and you're like, damn, I don't watch a lot. It's no competition. I just watched a lot. So yeah, so I always had this ideal to start a channel, and I never did. And I should have, because during the pandemic, I was going to stores left and right. I got some of my craziest hauls just from showing up and showing out. So I got a crazy collection from that. Fast forward to now, I started, this journey after, got laid off from my job in the music industry last year and had a bunch of downtime on my hands. So I was like, why not? I got the equipment, let's do it. Now looking back, it was just, I was, I guess it wasn't making excuses, but I was like, I needed a new camera because I did need a new camera at the time. The camera that I shot with, all my early videos was old. I've had that camera oh God, like since 2010, believe it or not. Actually, maybe a little earlier than that. It's an old Canon camera, but yeah, I wanted a new camera, all the kind of bells and whistles and things like that. So I just like, forget it. Let me start with what I have now. I had some good advice from a good friend of mine who had very great success in YouTube. And he's like, you know what? You got the personality. Just start with the gear you have. So I did that. Fast forward, it was, you've seen the video, it was so dry. The lighting was bad. But, the content was there and I had the goods. We did a bottle of Russell's 10 and it was a vibe. Now I would say every video I've done since then, I've always learned something and I figure out how to make them better engaging. I felt like towards the original beginning, a lot of my videos were like super long. So over a period of time, I started, purposely cutting them in half and then trying different things that work. So there are certain video topics that I would do that would catch on, that were really successful, and there were some that weren't so much. And then I saw the ones that really kind of got people going. So I kind of stuck to that. One thing I would say was a cool thing about when I started was I didn't really have to go out and buy a lot of stuff because a lot of stuff I had. In regards to like keeping current views, obviously all the new bottles that would come out that year, I would go get, you know what I mean? Nothing crazy. I wasn't going out hunting like any kind of crazy LTDs because money does not grow on trees around here and we don't have any sponsors. But if it's something, worthwhile and it was within reason, I always try to like pick it up, But anyway, yeah, so we did the first video. The first video, I met a lot of people. Like to this day, I still talk to them. A lot of them have whiskey channels and, we kind of got this cool network, But just do it, It kind of brought me back to just do it and I haven't looked back. This is video 100 and we're still just doing it. Things that I have learned. Now, you come to a point where like you do something for so long. And for me, I enjoyed absorbing a lot of whiskey content. I would say when I started this channel, I was still absorbing a lot of whiskey content. Now I would say that content has dropped down to like maybe like 40%, because I just don't have the time to watch everybody's videos. Now there's a core group of people that I honestly watch their videos religiously, like some of the homies. And then obviously a lot of like the older people I was watching on YouTube, I still watch. But now it's crazy. The space is like flooded. It's so many people. I still enjoy it. There's some good and some bad out there. So we did some cool stuff last year. We went to the Whiskey X Festival. That was pretty dope. Not super crazy. I know most of you probably live in Kentucky, other places where you do the big, festivals. But this is my first one. That was pretty cool. We tasted a lot of whiskey all over. Did a few store videos, and by few, I mean 2. Now I shot probably in reality 8, but I only put kind of like 2 online, and you've seen those when I went back home. Now the future of the channel. So, like I said, I lost my job, and things slowed down a little bit on the music tip, but now your boy's back up. Last few months, having a lot of things going, so I have been very busy. So hence the reason why it's been a few months between me releasing videos. However, I do, when I have downtime, stockpile a lot of videos. So there's a lot of content coming. I just honestly wanted to get this video out, being the 100, and then I can go ahead and rapid release all the other videos I have in the queue. I have some exciting videos in the queue. Damn it, I don't want to give anything away. I don't, but I would say the next video would be a cool segue to like what's to come down the pipeline. And yeah, I gave you all, I think it was like the orientation video. I told you that we were getting out of this room and into the real world. So that is the first clue. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah. So, here we are, still drinking Russell's. This is the private, select reserve. Oh, one thing I would say this much. So I know we did the one on the desk before. It was called Whiskey Etiquette. So this one is, just do it. I can't run that into the ground no more. Like whatever it is in life that you want to do, just do it. If you want to start painting, just do it. Or you want to start creating music, just do it. You don't really need much. You don't really need much. Like I said, I started with a 10-year-old, actually older than that, 15-year-old, 14-year-old at the time, a camera and an old mic. And over a period of time, I got things, invested into lights and things like that, whatever made sense. But, you just got to start with what you have and kind of go from there. And it pays to be nice to folks. And the reason why I say that was, this was a gift from somebody I don't even know. It's somebody I met at a random store that should not be named, and they wanted my suggestions for what they should get. I recommended a few things, and they was like, if you were getting something, what would you get? Now, I wasn't thinking. I just literally was thinking of something nice that I personally would get or I would enjoy as a gift. And I was just like, can't go wrong with the Russell Reserve Private Select Single Barrel. And I started talking about all the, notes and things like that that you would experience in general. Not from the single barrel, but, just in general. And they said, okay, cool, get that. They got it, they bought it, and then they handed it to me. So it pays to be nice. So on that note, I would say just do it. If you are in the comments right now and you have a crazy lofty ideal, just do it. Don't really matter. You don't need much. Just start today. Let me know in the comments like the kind of stuff you all into outside of whiskey. I'm super curious. And if you are starting a whiskey channel, I would say right now you don't need much. You don't need fancy cameras. You don't need lights. Just use your phone, cut the lights on in your room, and then over a period of time, you can start investing into other things that kind of make sense. Yeah. So if you've been watching the channel for this long, let me know in the comments if you can recall a favorite episode of yours or anything I reviewed that you like, or how you found me, or what about this channel you like. I'm generally deeply curious in general. So I appreciate everybody. And if you're watching this, so far, you haven't subscribed, go ahead, hit the good old like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill. So I just wanted to get over here. Nothing, too fancy, too special today. It's Russell's Reserve, though. It is crazy. Should we get into it? Let's get into it real quick. Ooh, already on the note. Oh, man. You know what? I need a Glencairn for this. I do. I can't nose nothing in this glass. It's a nice glass. It really is. You would think for that price that everything you would need would pop out. No, wrong. But we're gonna do a little bit in here. Why? Because it's the 100th episode. Let's go. Man. All right, cool. Here we go. The Russell's Reserve Single Barrel Private Select. Wow. That nose is crazy. It is a huge cherry bomb note that pops out on the nose. And it's almost like it's like hugged by like this like a malt ball. But the malt ball almost comes off as it's malt, right? But then there's like a peppermint patty note. But more of the inside of the patty than the outside of the patty. Who knows what part of the patty that is? Oh man. It's like a burnt cinnamon note that's pretty good in there. And there is hints of oak in there. Now, it's a pleasant oak. It's not too oaky. Like I said, it's a little bit, not too off profile, but you can notice, obviously, there's a huge difference between this and the 10. I would say this actually is younger than the 10-year-old, but once again, the 10-year-old is a batch product, and this is a single barrel. So let's go in for the taste. On the palate, it is crazy. You're met by like that cherry bomb. And there's like a spice note that runs behind it. Now what's crazy is, usually on Russell's, I don't really get that spice note, but there's a crazy spice that chases that cherry note. Then it's followed by that malt chocolate kind of note that's in there. And then it's ended off with like that burnt sugar. Also, there's like a huge, hold on a second. It's also like a cheese Danish note in there, which, I never get. So I would say that burnt kind of like brown sugar is now more kind of like a pastry crust note that I get in there. Pretty pleasant. Overall, the finish is like surprisingly kind of like, long. It really is. It's not like super long, but it's long enough to kind of get the job done. This is probably a bottle, honestly, I'll probably nurse for a while. I love Russell's. I got a bunch of these around here. People come over, I'll pour a glass of this, but overall, I thoroughly like this, So on that note, folks, like I said, it's 100th episode. I appreciate each and every one of you for checking out so far in the journey. We've been a long way. So yeah. And like we always say at this time, folks, cheers, salute, sante, Kobe, and all that jazz.